Speaking ahead of a United Nations Security Council meeting next week, British Foreign Secretary David Miliband said that although wide differences remain between Kosovo Albanians and Serbs, mediation talks should continue with the aim of negotiating a form of supervised independence.
The origins of the problem are ancient. They date right back to the Battle of Kosovo-Polja in 1389. But the immediate context is set by the terrible experience of the people of Bosnia in the mid-1990s and of Kosovo at the end of the 1990s. Then ethnic nationalism overwhelmed the forces of moderation and humanity. This time it needs to be different. Kosovo Albanians and Serbs need to know that restraint and due process will be honoured and extremism and violence confronted. There has been an extensive process of mediation over the last 2 years, first under UN auspices, led by former President Martti Ahtisaari of Finland, then under an EU-Russia-US umbrella for the last 4 months. These efforts have been unstinting, and I want to especially recognise the efforts of Wolfgang Ischinger, the German ambassador to the UK, and the European Troika representative over the last 4 months. I met Ambassador Ischinger again yesterday to hear his latest views. The basic fact is that despite the effort at mediation, there remains a wide gulf between the sides that further mediation will not close. So they have to choose, and so do we. The Kosovars have to choose how they go about pressing the claims for independence, recognising that the status process, provided for in UN Security Council Resolution 1244, resulted in the Ahtisaari proposal for supervised independence. The signals from Pristina yesterday were encouraging. The government there said it would first stay in step with the international community, second, work to minimise violence in Kosovo, and third, honour the undertakings of the Ahtisaari plan, including for minorities.
Turning to the Middle East, the Foreign Secretary said the government of Iran needs to come clean on its nuclear ambitions, including past or present weapons programs.
Iran has every right to be a proud, respected member of the international community. It does not have the right to set off a nuclear weapons race in the Middle East. Last week's US National Intelligence estimate judged that Iran had a nuclear weapons program up until 2003, when it halted one aspect of it. If true, this is good. But this report does not, Mr. Speaker, answer the questions of the Mr. Deputy Speaker, answer the questions of the international community in successive UN Security Council resolutions about Iran's activities and intentions. That is why it is so important for Iran to come clean on its past activities, including on the nature of any weaponization program, past or present, which would be a serious breach of the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the facts remain stark. Despite demands from the IAEA and the UN Security Council, Iran is still pursuing an enrichment program that has no apparent civilian application, but which could produce fissile material for a nuclear weapon. Iran is still denying the IAEA inspectors sufficient access to enable them to verify whether or not the nuclear program is for peaceful purposes. The head of the IAEA, Dr. Al-Baradei, who I will meet on the 7th of January, has said that the IAEA's knowledge of Iran's nuclear program is actually diminishing. And third, Dr. Solana has reported on behalf of the E3+3 that his talks with Iran's nuclear negotiator failed to produce a positive outcome.
Mr. Miliband said the UK government would press for further action by the UN Security Council if Iran did not fully comply with the IAEA.